It is time to turn your desires up to 11, my friend, and honor them. So, what do you want, and what are you willing to say out loud to get it? Welcome to the Glow Up Revolution podcast, a podcast for overgivers, overachievers, and the strong ones in the room. We discuss everything from neuroscience-based burnout prevention to magic spells we can cast for upcoming job opportunities and everything in between. Welcome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to the Glow Up Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Megan Winkler, and today we're talking about desire. Are you ready? Okay, so we're going to start with a question because you know I like to do that. And today's question is, what do you want? Ooh. So this is not what does your family need. It's not what your clients are asking for, not what your boss said, not what society said you should want. What do you want? Here's what I know about women. Most of us have not stopped wanting things. We have, however, gotten really very good at translating our wants into other people's needs. And it happens over years and over family developments and relationships deepening or coming and going. But I want to see if any of these sound familiar. So something like, I want a quiet morning might have at some point become, maybe the kids can sleep in. Or maybe they'll sleep in this Saturday. I want to feel like myself again became, maybe I just need a vacation. And in those moments where you have found yourself saying, I want more, you might have heard, I should be grateful for what I have in your head. That's one of the things that will get you real caught up in the witchy world, in the spiritual world. As we hear a whole lot about gratitude, and gratitude magic is real. Being grateful for what you have is so super powerful. And I'm going to tell you that it's not always the answer. Sometimes the answer is, I want more, and this is why. Okay? Your desire does not mean you are ungrateful. Your desire doesn't mean that you don't love your people, love your family, love your clients, love your work. It means you're human. Over the years, we don't mute ourselves on purpose. We've just learned from our mothers, from our society, from decades of feedback, and maybe even from like our microculture or smaller culture within larger society, that our desire is the thing that is most likely to make us seem selfish or too much or out of line. Does this sound familiar? So the answer is, for most of us, that we got quiet. And quiet over time starts to feel like contentment. It's not, though. It's a disconnection from self. And disconnection is what happens when you've been asked, whether explicitly or implicitly, to override your own signal long enough that you stop noticing it's there. You stop noticing your desires. And I'm not talking specifically about sexual desire, although that could be one of your desires. I'm talking about desire in general, okay? And I want to share a quick reframe that has shifted how I feel about my own wants and desires. It's not selfish, it's rather information. If you read my book, Breaking Up with Burnout, you know that I talk about how anger is maybe my favorite emotion because there's so much information in anger. There's so many other emotions in anger. And I feel like desire is one of those other emotions, one of those other feelings that there's so much information here. You're wanting, your desire even if that desire feels embarrassing or inconvenient or even just like too big for your current life, that is such rich information. From where I sit, that is your inner life trying to tell you something, something really true about who you are and what you're actually here for, what you're actually here to do. And we've been taught that desire isn't really the same thing as real work. But what if desire is the real work? Like, what if the things we've been quietly longing for are actually a compass to get us to where we want to be? And I'm not talking about like empty kind of law of attraction things where it's like, if I just want it hard enough, it'll appear. No, no, no. That's the thing about magic from where I sit, is that magic also requires work. Manifestation also requires us to get off our ass and do something, right? Like, we're not, unfortunately, able to just manifest things out of sheer thought alone. Because I tell you what, if we could, this world would be a completely different place. I promise you that. Because I would be manifesting things for the good of the world that would rock everything. Let's just leave it at that. I'm talking, though, about this steady system underneath the kind of fantasy manifestation, right? The one that says, this matters to me, this is part of who I am, this is how I can make things done, and this is worth building toward. Okay? And I know that some of you might be feeling a little bit of emotions around what I'm saying, around the idea of pursuing your desire. And I want you to know I can feel you. I understand. I am here with you. I have also experienced this myself. Remember, guilt and shame have very specific roles in both our individual lives, but also in our society and our culture. Shame, in particular, keeps us in our lane. It keeps us operating in a predictable way so that the systems around us can continue to prosper. So when we step outside of that shame and we unabashedly, without shame, say, this is what I want, this is my true desire, it shakes the system up a little bit. So yeah, you're going to get pushback. And you might get some of that pushback internally, and that's okay. This is a process. So just notice it. Notice if you have that internal pushback, and just make note of it. Okay? Because as we start making note of things, we can start shifting, we can start changing. And you can ask yourself things like, why am I feeling shame around this? Why am I feeling guilty for wanting this thing? And just listen. Your system, your body, your emotions, your intuition will speak to you if you just give it a chance to say things. So let's start with a little something I'm going to call a desire inventory. And this is not a vision board. It is not a goal list. It is really a genuine look at what's actually alive in you. And so I'm going to ask you these questions here on the podcast, but I want to let you know that I've started doing weekly bonuses for paid Patreon members. And this is this week's bonus. So last week was a really cool tarot spread for healing your money shame. This week is going to be this energy and desire inventory and these 4 journal prompts on some journaling pages that you can print out and use for yourself. But for now, just listen to these questions. I want them to be percolating in the back of your mind. And so later on, you can go grab them on Patreon. So the first question is, what do you want to feel? And when you ask yourself, what do I want to feel? I don't want you to limit it to just one part of your life or one area of your life. I want you to think about, how do you want to feel? What do you want to feel in your body, in your work, in your relationships, or for instance, like today on a random Tuesday? Not so random, my friend. The second question is, what did you used to love before you became responsible for everyone else? What's something that you used to love? Here's one that might pull at some of those triggers from your childhood. I'm just letting you know. What do you envy? Right? We were taught that envy and jealousy were evil. Like envy is one of the 7 deadly sins. But I want you to know that envy is almost always a desire trying to get your attention. So if you feel envious of someone, and I use that instead of jealousy because jealousy, I always feel like, is like you want it for yourself and they can't have it. Whereas you might see a celebrity and envy her life because it looks so carefree. Or you might envy her style because she can just pull off like a t-shirt and jeans and flip-flops and just look so amazing and breezy. You don't necessarily want to take it from her. I'm thinking of like Dakota Johnson and Jennifer Aniston right now. Like both of them have that like kind of cool girl, just like they could run out to the wine bar or they could be sitting on the couch watching the Super Bowl or whatever, and still they would have like this kind of easy breezy elegance. Like I don't want to take that from them, but it's like there's part of me that's like, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool to just be able to like throw on anything and you're just like, oh, look how chic I am. What is that envy telling you? And then finally, what would you want if you knew no one was going to have an opinion about it? If nobody's opinion mattered, what would you want? And these questions are here to help you get underneath the managed and manicured version of yourself. We all have this very manicured version of ourselves that we present to the world. And it might have filtered into our home life. Maybe we presented with our family, our immediate family or extended. Maybe we presented at work. Maybe we presented with our clients. Okay. And when we water ourselves down, we are taking our magic out of whatever situation we're in. So let's work on the language, shall we? For a lot of us, desire has become a foreign language. It's something that we have pushed off. It's something that we don't really understand anymore for ourselves. Like we understand it in a logical, kind of theoretical way, but we don't really understand it for ourselves. You can almost remember how to speak the language of desire. You remember the sounds, you remember some of the grammatical formations, right? But when you try to form a sentence, it comes out really uncertain. It comes out apologetic or hedged. Something like, I think I might want. I think maybe I want. So here's a practice that I am going to invite you to start integrating into your day. I invite you to finish a sentence with something that is super true, and that sentence begins with I want. It does not begin with I think I should want. It does not begin with I need. It does not begin with I'd love it if. It does not begin with I think I might want. No, just I want. And you can start really small. So it could be something like, I want an hour to myself on Saturday. I want to eat a meal I actually choose, things that I really love. I want to finish a book. Oh my gosh, some of that might felt really, really rushed or big, right? So if you're used to doing everything for everybody else on a Saturday, saying, I want an hour to myself on Saturday might feel really rude to say to your partner or your kids. It might feel like, oh my God, who do you think you are? You might be saying something like that to yourself. But we're starting small here. And, maybe it's like, I want to choose what restaurant we go to this week. I don't know. When you become more comfortable with those smaller wants, you can let it get bigger. Then you can start saying things like, I want to create something that's purely mine. Here's a big one. I want to be known for something I actually care about. Or I want a life where my pleasure is not a guilty afterthought. Ooh. Y'all, I know these episodes have been hard hitting recently. I'm getting really good feedback from y'all that you love it. And also, I get it. So if that one hits you, because it hit me just a little bit when I said it out loud, take a deep breath with me. Because the thing is as we practice naming our desires, we learn the language of desire again. Okay. And every time you say I want without immediately qualifying it or adding apologetic language to it, you're doing this really deep inner work and outer work. Okay. And you're going to start to see shifts around you. When you stand up for yourself or stand up for your desires, you will see people shift around you. It may not always be the most comfortable thing. Make sure you're safe. Please make sure that you are emotionally, physically, mentally safe. And also be prepared for some pushback. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Because what happens when we stop muting ourselves? Okay, so I've experienced this in my own life. I've experienced this in the lives of women I have worked with, in even my friends, that when we start taking our desires seriously, it's not like everything starts becoming easy. Like I said, you're probably going to get some pushback, but it is when things start becoming real. So the universe, as we've spoken about before, really loves specificity. So when we're manifesting things, when we're setting goals, when we're creating an offer in our business, when we're focusing on something, when we're planning a vacation, the specificity is where the flow later comes from. Because when you know what you actually want, when you're saying it aloud, when you are hearing your own voice with your own ears, you then stop wasting energy on the things that were never going to fill you up. You stop overcommitting. And it might just be like you stop overcommitting as much or overgiving as much as you were before. And you stop overcommitting to a life that was designed for who you used to be. You stop waiting for permission that was never coming, and you start becoming someone who is reclaiming herself. One of my coaches in the past, I haven't worked with her in several years, but we are still in contact. I adore her. Her name is Allison Crow. She introduced to me the idea of I'm a woman who is becoming. So this week I'm putting it to practice, and I'm like, I'm becoming a woman who is working out 3 times a week because I really need to get my strength training on. So it's like, it's not that I'm doing it right now, but it's like, I'm becoming a woman who is stronger because she's weight training 3 times a week. So you can put it to the test yourself, put it into practice yourself. I am a woman who is becoming more comfortable with expressing my desires. You're becoming this person. None of this happens overnight, okay? The thing is your desire also doesn't require a dramatic life overhaul to be real. You don't have to blow up your marriage. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to ditch your business and burn it to the ground. You don't have to move to Italy. I mean, options are options. And you can make the choice that works well for you. Desire gets to start small. It gets to be the Saturday morning that's yours. It gets to be a creative practice that's not negotiable. It gets to be my 3 times a week strength training. Okay? It gets to be a boundary that protects something you actually care about. It gets to be a choice that you make because it's true for you, not because it's the path of least resistance or if serving other people. Okay? You're allowed to want things for yourself, my friend. And you're allowed to want them right now. You're allowed to want them today. This is not something that you have to put off to someday or when the kids are older or the business is stable or you feel like you've earned it, that you've earned your desire through enough sacrifice. You can want it now. Your desire is not a threat to the people you love or who love you. It is not evidence that you are ungrateful or greedy or broken or even evil. It is the most honest signal that you have about who you are and what you want to build, what you want to create. When you mute yourself, you're not serving your desires and you're not serving yourself. So it is time to turn your desires up to 11, my friend, and honor them. So what do you want? And what are you willing to say out loud to get it? Again, you don't have to blow anything up. You don't have to quit anything. You don't have to get a divorce. You don't have to move to France. I wouldn't move to France right now. It's really hot. But you just have to say, this is what I want. And be honest with yourself. That's it. If this episode hit you in the feels, if it inspired something, if you know somebody who needs to hear it, please share it with your friends, your loved ones. Please like, subscribe, and review on your favorite platform. That helps get the word out to the algorithm. And if you would like to join Patreon, you can always join for free. And my free Patreon members get access to the videos. It's a nice place to just always have them all in one place, nice and accessible on your phone. But for as little as $3 a month, you start getting the bonuses, which are now including episode bonuses. So this week we're getting the True Desire Journal Prompts worksheet. Last week it was a money healing tarot spread. So it's going to be little gifts. You also get a weekly update. So early Sunday mornings, like 1 a.m. Central in the US. So really super early. Your tarot card and quick energy update for the week lands in Patreon and in your inbox if you happen to have notifications for email. And that's just a really nice way to kind of set yourself up for the week energetically. It's a great way to journal about the energies of the card, energies of the cosmos, all of that. And it's just one of my gifts to you to say thank you for supporting me here on the podcast. Truly, I would not be able to do the podcast the way I do it and create the community with you without your support. So thank you so, so much. Next week, we are wrapping up this series that I'm just kind of loosely calling the Reclamation series. And then we're going to move on to something else. So I'm excited about new things coming. A little preview because I haven't exactly put it down in notes yet, but it's going to be around magic. And so I'm super excited. Thanks again for being here. All of the really cool, important links are in the show notes, including my Instagram and my website. The website's getting a complete refresh really soon. So I'm working on it behind the scenes. I think you're going to love it. And until next time, stay hydrated, stay safe, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and as always, stay magical. Bye.